All right, what is going on, guys? Kind of a breakdown for UFC Vegas 43. Probably my last one for this card, maybe one more, but then I'll just get right on to UFC 269, which is in 2 weeks. So, plenty of time to prepare. Got a couple reads I like for that one, but for now, this one's at lightweight. We got Rafa Garcia taking on Natan Levy. Levy gonna have a 4-inch reach advantage. He's 2 inches taller, pretty big for the division, and I will start with him. So, Levy's making his UFC debut. Fought in the Contender Series, not this past season, but the 2020 season, and was supposed to fight Austin Hubbard in April. Probably would have been a good matchup for him. Probably would have done what Vince Pichel did, but had to pull out because of an injury. So here he is taking on Rafa Garcia. But yeah, in the Contender Series, it was a very impressive performance. Shaheen Santana is another guy who's huge for the division, bigger than Levy, and Levy was able to really impose his grappling early, get him tired, but then he did get clipped in the second, and it looked like the fight was kind of trending away from him. Then he ends up working in an arm triangle choke. Submissions are his game. He's got like a kung fu striking base, and he does have good kicks that kind of set up the takedown game. But yeah, he's a heavy wrestler. Makes his opponent carry his weight. Seems like he really is a guy that can sap the gas tank. But that's mostly been the story with him. Was an LFA before the UFC. Had a tricky fight with Ben Lugo. Got stunned in that one too. His striking's a little loopy. Again, he's one of those tries to set up the takedown type guys, but he does leave some holes and it's a little concerning. But yeah, on the good side of his game, he saps the gas tank, got a good submission game, and he's big. He can chain wrestle. He's got pretty good cardio, but not a lot to go off in the way of experience. He's 30 years old, 6-0 professionally. Trains out Syndicate MMA in Vegas, so solid gym. But yeah, it's a big proving fight for him. Like we know he's got decent grappling game. We know his striking's a work in progress. We've seen that combination a million times. It's just like let's see what he can do in the UFC. Pretty much all there is to say. But yeah, for Garcia, his back's kind of up against the wall here. I think he lost to Chris Gutzmacher last time out. A pretty disappointing performance for him. Who was a big favorite in that one. But before that, he lost to Nasrat Hakparas. Just kind of got pieced up in the first couple rounds, but did battle back in the third, made it interesting, and it's not too bad of a loss because Hakparas is pretty good. I think that's why a lot of people were picking Grutzmacher, or excuse me, picking Garcia against Grutzmacher because I think he looked pretty good in that Hakparas fight. But yeah, that Grutzmacher fight was a really bizarre one. He was just able to get in close, just kind of was like holding his arms, basically, was not allowing him to strike for a lot of the fight. And Grutzmacher just racking up offense, man. It was an odd fight. Like, I mean, for Garcia's game, he's got a good boxing base. He's got pretty good boxing, good knees, but he works in the takedowns a lot too. I think he kind of exhausts himself with the takedowns, but he has good takedown ability, good wrestling game. Not much of a submission threat, but he can work it in. It's just I don't really ever see what his game plan is with it. It's just he kind of randomly mixes in these takedowns, which I guess you like to see because close rounds he can get the takedown. But the one thing I will say about him that's a little concerning is his gas tank. But on the flip side of that, he's got a chin. So, I mean, he has a good resume outside the UFC, probably stronger than Levy. I would say he's closer to a finished product, or at least a guy we can kind of have a read on his skill set. He's been in wars before, including with Eric Gonzalez. Got rocked in the first one. Had to eat like 20 strikes. The fight probably could have been stopped, honestly. In the UFC, I think it would have been. But was able to keep going. Ends up rocking Gonzalez in the second. That was just an all-out war, really fun fight. It's on YouTube. But yeah, Gonzalez just got to the UFC recently. Was having some success against Jim Miller before getting flatlined. But yeah, he had a good UFC run prior to coming in, with Combate. So I think that's why people kind of liked his game. But like I said, he does get tired, but at the same time, he's still dangerous. He's one of those guys where it's like you'll clearly see him slow down. A lot of times, he starts to slow down at the end of the first round. That's what I really don't like. His cardio is not great, but uh, he's still dangerous too. Should be noted, but. Yeah, it's an interesting fight because I think Garcia is going to have the striking advantage. He's got the cleaner striking. He can find opportunities to kind of pick apart Levy's guard because, like I said, when he's the one leading the dance, he leaves himself open a little bit, so I think there's going to be room to counter there. But I don't know if Garcia has killer knockout power, but he could definitely outvolume him and look like the cleaner striker on the feet. But for this one, it's so close, man. I went back and forth a million times. It's a pick 'em for a reason. I think on FanDuel, when I was looking at it this morning, uh, Garcia had expanded a little bit as a favorite. He was minus 115. Levy coming back at minus 105. I think Levy was the favorite earlier in the week. And that just basically sums up my thoughts on this fight. Like, I'll tell you right now that it's not something I'm looking to bet much at all, just a parlay piece, if anything. But I'm gonna go with Natan Levy ever so slightly, and I went back and forth on this a million times, like I said, but I think that he has shown that he's good at kind of sapping the gas tank, whereas Garcia's gas tank is the main concern with him. It's like I said, he seems to get tired at the end of the first round. He slows down significantly, and he's still dangerous, but he slows down. He's not as good on bottom. He's not as good of a BJJ guy. He's just more of a wrestling guy, and he does kind of need the wrestling to win some of these decisions. It's like a factor for him. And I don't think that's going to really work out for him against Levy. Levy's big. If you try to take him down, he's going to have an athletic sprawl. And I think he's just going to end up just using that to try to get a reversal, start working in his own body lock takedown or single leg or whatever. Because, yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that the gas tank of Garcia combined with the exhausting style and the heavy wrestling that we've seen from Levy is going to end up swaying this fight, and then Levy's going to take over late and either get a submission or just salt the win away with top control. But it's close, man, because like I said, on the feet, Levy kind of scares me a little bit, and I kind of hope that he doesn't really try to showcase his striking. I hope he just tries to get right to what makes him good, just tries to clinch up with Garcia right away and try to get him tired. And I think he is going to do that. He has the size advantage, and Garcia's gas tank is just such a liability to me. But again, not a big betting spot for me at all. Very volatile fight for a reason, but I'm going to go with Levy ever so slightly, probably by decision. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure to subscribe and take it easy.